Welcome back to Sport on 7. I'm Tom Bushell. Of course, 30 minutes of sport for you every week on City 7 TV from here in the UAE and around the world. Now, away from the World Cup, there have been some huge moments of sport. The only man who can go through them with me is not here, but Chris McHardy is once again hanging around, so I did speak to him again. Yeah, it's been a very busy 7 days of sport here in the UAE, but this first story actually comes from Miami, but it all links back to Dubai eventually. Andy Murray decided not to play the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships because he wanted to go to America and concentrate on the Indian Wells and Miami Masters, both ATP 1000 events, of course. It didn't quite happen for him at Indian Wells, but in Miami, Chris McHardy from Sport 360, Andy Murray is firing on all cylinders.
He is indeed, Tom, and I guess you could say he's been vindicated for the decision to miss the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championship. Of course, you may recall he said at the end of last year he wanted to go to the American swing season. He wanted to miss Dubai for the simple reason was to concentrate on getting higher up the world rankings. Now, a wonderful victory for him on Sunday evening, a 3-set victory, a 2-hour, 45-minute slugfest against David Ferrer. He said it himself, it was a brutal match. He came through the first time that Andy Murray has ever came back from a match point to then go on and win it. A wonderful victory, and of course, the biggest story from that victory, not only his 26th ATP title, but he goes to world number 2 as well. He ousts Roger Federer. He's now just got Novak Djokovic ahead of him in the world rankings, and of course him saying he wants to climb the rankings, one man away from being the pinnacle of world tennis. Quite an incredible achievement from Andy Murray.
Absolutely. There's only 6 days or so that separate Novak Djokovic at world number 1 and Andy Murray at world number 2. They were born in the same week pretty much, and he really will be hoping to catch Novak Djokovic, who does stand quite a way off in terms of points at the moment in the rankings. But what a rivalry that's becoming, and we'll look forward to more over the course of the year. Now, a team that aren't firing on all cylinders, Sunderland. They haven't scored in 6 games now, and ho, how they would love to have Asamoah Gyan back.
Well, a bit early for your Santa impressions there, Tom, but you're quite right. Asamoah Gyan, who's been just in wonderful form since leaving Sunderland, coming across to the UAE with Alain. He's just this week been awarded the Al Hidayah Al Ridiyah Golden Boot Award. Now, that is in recognition for his 21 goals in 22 Pro League games last season. Quite incredible, and it's an award given to the top goal scorer and across the Arab leagues. Of course, Asamoah Gyan, absolutely stupendous form last season as Alain romped to the title. He was awarded that this week. The 9th player to be given the award based in the UAE. They've now taken over Saudi Arabia, who had won the award 8 times in the 33-year history. But as you rightly point out, the man that Sunderland could so be doing with at this moment in time, a 1-0 defeat against Manchester United on Saturday, 6 games, as you rightly point out, without a goal. Martin O'Neill has been sacked, and I guess the second manager, if you will, that has been sacked. Of course, you may recall 6 teams came over to the Dubai for winter training. Brian McDermott paid the price for his job with Reading. It's now Martin O'Neill at Sunderland. How they wish Asamoah Gyan was still in their ranks.
Well, of course, Sunderland did sell Asamoah Gyan to Alain, didn't they, just a couple of years ago. Now, staying with Alain because they are almost home and dry, 11 points clear in the Pro League this season. But next season, as possibly defending champions, could be a lot harder for them because they could be without Omar Abdurrahman, their star player. Is he on his way to Europe in the summer, I wonder?
Well, Tom, it is looking increasingly likely that Omar Abdurrahman will be headed for Europe in the summer. Of course, the chairman of Alain Football Club came out this past week, has said that the club are ready to sell Abdurrahman to the right club. Now, he did say as well that a number of clubs from Europe are planning on heading to the UAE this coming month. Of course, Valencia, as one of the clubs we know, are sending a representative out to look at Abdurrahman in action. Paris Saint-Germain have also been linked, as have a number of other clubs, including the likes of Benfica and Manchester City. Omar Abdurrahman, we've talked about him at length on the show over the past few weeks. He is the star man, he is the poster boy of UAE football. He's a wonderful talent, still only 21 years of age, and for the good of not only Abdurrahman's career, but also for UAE football and improving the standing, a move to Europe surely beckons, and fingers crossed it's to a club that will nurture him better. He will be given the first team chance, and obviously he will kick on and become a real star in world football.
Absolutely. Newcastle United have been in touch with me just to go and give him a watch as well, so watch this space. He's a great player, isn't he? And Alain looking set to beat champions once again. Let's stay with football. Loads going on, of course, isn't there?
There is indeed, Tom, and I guess the interesting one, we talk about Omar Abdurrahman, and a little April Fool's, if you will. The news just broke in the last few hours. Amir Zaki, the Egyptian striker, of course, you may recall, played for Wigan Athletic in the Premier League, Big talk of him signing for Los Angeles Galaxy. Now, that was the club, of course, that David Beckham spent 5 years before he moved to France. But Amir Zakis came out on Twitter this morning and said, listen, guys, it's an April Fool's. I'm not signing a 2-year deal for LA Galaxy. Of course, Zaki, he has been a free agent since leaving Turkish club in January. He's not going to LA, so we can put that one to bed. And anyone that has been following that story closely, I can tell you he is not going to Los Angeles.
By the way, after we finish filming today, we have your paycheck in the office. That's an April Fool's joke. Let's go from football then to cricket, because for cricket fans, well, the UAE, of course, is such a great place these days for cricket. We've recently had the Emirates T20, plus, of course, the UAE in action against Ireland in those World Cup qualifiers as well. But more cricket to come, and we're talking Pakistan back in the UAE.
Yes, indeed, Tom. Very exciting news for cricket fans in the UAE this past week. David East, the Emirates Cricket Board Chief Executive, has come out to say, listen, Pakistan, we are in talks with Pakistan to bring them back over later this year for upcoming matches against Sri Lanka and South Africa. Now, of course, you may recall Pakistan have been using the UAE as their home since 2009, those atrocious terrorist acts in Lahore. Great news for cricket fans here, though, is they have seen some cricket action over the past couple of years. Of course, they had wins against Sri Lanka and against England on these shores. They could be coming back, and as I say, for all of us, great news to see some world-class cricket on these shores.
Thanks very much, Chris McHardy, possibly the only person not to be wearing a suit on this week's Sport on 7, because, of course, we have spent much of it at Meydan for the Dubai World Cup.
Some of us do have to work, Tom. We can't all go gallivanting up at the Meydan racetrack.
Thank you very much, Chris. We'll see you again next week for more sports in the UAE. Yeah, thanks, Chris. That's it for Sport on 7 this week. A fantastic Dubai World Cup and plenty of other action too. We are lucky here in the UAE, aren't we? We'll be back next week with more from the world of sport. Until then, I'm Tom Bushell. Goodbye.